analysis of the just completed game between Truxton is white and all rats is black. We played a 60 and 30 time control. I believe anyone that watches this video will benefit greatly from it because, well, first off, I just want to say this and have it on record. If this was an actual tournament game that I was playing at an event and I didn't know Truxton, and if his published rating, oh, get away, don't ruin my screen. My Logitech webcam controller popped up in the middle of my screen. Okay, if this was a tournament game and played live and I didn't know him, and if his published rating said anywhere from 1900 to 2100, I would have believed it. I even would have believed higher than 2100. There's certainly a lot to this game, which is explained in the 3-hour video, live video that I made for this, which may someday be posted. I don't know yet. We'll talk about that. I can show stuff that I looked at, and hopefully we can get some input from Truxton. But let's just go back to the opening and try and go through this. How much time are you comfortable with for making this video? We know that I've made them up to an hour, and people looked at them. So if you want an hour out of this or half an hour, we just see where it goes. But I want you to give some input too of your thoughts, because that way those will be recorded. Plus, you will know what compare with what you looked at with what my full-length live video will say. So here, I said, "Oh, he's playing my opening against me," and I had nothing prepared. I just kind of like winged it from here. Do you have anything to say about Knight F3?
First, let me go ahead and follow you. And
oh, you're not in the game yet.
no, I'm not there yet. I've been installing this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so
follow me.
Also, I think that if we made this video, 30 to 45 minutes, that would be okay.
Okay. Well, like I say, the timer's on the software. It shows me we're at 225 right now. So just keep an eye on it as we go, and it could go shorter, it could go longer. We'll just see where it goes. I won't remember every variation I looked at, but you'll see them when you see the video, and go from there.
Yeah, I like Knight F3, and the reason why I played it is because I think it's a really flexible move, and it can transpose into a lot of different openings. So that's really the reason why I played it.
Okay, that's fine. And I winged this. I came up with this, and I was joking in the video. I said, "Oh, he can play E4, and I'll play Knight C6, and I have the Fred."
I didn't consider E4. I was just looking at D4 and C4.
E4 is a line. I've played it before. It's its own gambit. Black should have no trouble with it, but it is a move. And then C4. And I've played against English positions, C4, E5. I've played F5 lines, so I'm pretty familiar with those. I discussed the idea of those happening. There's really not much happening yet.
Right.
It's just development. And now we're in a Dutch, and I opted to play the Leningrad Dutch. I don't know it deeply. I know it's solid, and I know that I just know the basics, and I can always find a reasonable approach to theory. And like I say, I know there was a British Grandmaster I played in ICCF World Championship correspondence semifinals that employed this defense against me, and essentially he put the pawn on C6, and then later the knight went to E6, and I think maybe his bishop went to E6. I don't remember exactly when, and then the knight came back to C7. And I had a positional exchange sacrifice against him, of all things, that just left him on the ropes and defending and defending and defending, and I kept the pressure up, and I finally cracked him. Very interesting game. I will eventually make a video of it. Just haven't yet. So I'm just going to play standard stuff based on what I know about the Leningrad Dutch. And here, this move struck me as odd. But you never actually did what I thought you were planning to do. What's your explain
I
your
played
move
Bishop
choice.
E3 mainly because in this position I can get some really rapid development, and I'm not afraid of you playing Knight G4 because it takes you time to capture my dark squared bishop, and while you're doing that, I can develop my queen and then retake with the pawn on E3, and then maybe play E4.
Hmm.
So basically, Bishop E3, I'm not afraid of giving you the bishop pair because I get
Right.
developed fast.
Okay.
And also, I need to get my queenside rook into the game. I mean, development is key. So I
Hmm.
didn't really want to play Bishop G5, um, and I didn't really want to play Bishop F4. So I just put it on E3.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I didn't say it was a bad. I never thought it was a bad move. I was just trying to decide on what your plan was. My feeling was you were preparing to do this maneuver, Queen
I
D2
was
and
thinking
Bishop 8,
about that.
Bishop H6, and I put a lot of analysis. There's in these variations. Looked at a couple of lines with the Queen going to both C1 and D2. There were a lot of very interesting lines. Now, is this where I played? I think I finally played Queen C7 here, right? Let me just, yeah. Okay, I just
Yeah,
want to make
that
sure
was a
before
good move.
that was what?
I think that was a good move.
Oh, thanks.
Um, well, well, at first glance, I thought it was a good move. And and I could have played Queen D2 and that kind of stuff, but the reason why I didn't play Queen D2 was this: if after Queen C7, if I play Queen D2, and then if you play Knight G4, I cannot play Bishop H6. So
Right.
if I develop with Rook AD1, then you take the bishop with your knight, and then I take back with my pawn, and then you have Bishop H6. And I felt like that was annoying,
No.
but I'm not 100% sure. So the main reason why I didn't play Queen D2 was because of that whole thing with
Okay.
Bishop H6.
Okay. Well, I'll say something. It's just interesting how two players think. I don't always consider every possible move and either that my opponent can play or that I can play, uh, and sometimes that holds me back because I miss something that my opponent planned or I miss a better move that I may have had. But that notwithstanding, I never once in this game considered knight g4 going after your bishop. It didn't. I'd never even crossed my mind.
Wow.
Okay. Now I'm not saying it's a good move or a bad move, but I didn't get into consider any of your analysis. So I'm taking your analysis at its word. Okay. So uh, there are times as the game went on, as you'll see in the tape, that when we started running a little lower on time, I couldn't spend as much time analyzing some of the things as I had been, and pretty much had to go by instinct. But my gut feeling is that even though I may not see moves played coming, because I certainly didn't anticipate Bishop E3, even though I didn't see it
Right.
coming, I can always find moves for them. Even if my bad's game, even if it's a good move that I missed and it kills me, I can still find the best move to hang on from that point. So at
Sorry to
least
interrupt you. There was other reasons behind Bishop E3 that I'm
mhm.
just now remembering.
Okay.
I was thinking about answering your knight G4 with Bishop D4 after my pawn goes to D.
After your pawn goes to D5,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
also like how my bishop was controlling C5. So if you ever played like a knight Bd7, and then maybe you can't go to C5 so easily.
okay. Well, like I say, knight G4 never even popped in my head. Although in other positions I do stuff like that. I just wasn't thinking along that line, mainly because Black really does that in a Dutch, and even though it's an opportunity there and it may or may not be good, I don't know. I went about other things. My other candidate move I was examining here. There was some I can't remember all the stuff. As I said, there was stuff involving a lot of crazy tactics. I'll try to show some of them now, even though they show up on the tape, even just in my voice, and someone will have to set up the board and with the PGN to play them over because I was doing my analysis looking at a three-dimensional board and making comments looking at a real chess set. Okay, I think the other candidate move was knight a6, and again it comes back to the idea that I'm going to follow up with knight c7.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
I think what I was looking at was there was some really crazy stuff here. If it's not this move, maybe it's next move. let's see, Queen D2, and then I go ahead with Knight C7. Now Bishop H6, and okay. Then I have Bishop E6. This is what I was looking at. The point being that if you take and then you secure B3, I don't have to worry about Knight G5 because I have G8 for the bishop. Okay?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So I'll just go about my business and continue with my plan. So this was how I was planning to meet a Bishop H6, and it's the whole idea behind Knight A6. But I know at some point there got to be some really crazy tactical lines here. Where
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Instead of Knight A6, which I did look at during the game, what I was thinking as a more realistic plan was just to play Knight Bd7 and then E5.
Yeah, I could do that, but I do know simply from the game I did play from the white side of this that the maneuver is Knight A6 to C7, which I never did. So that was why it was a candidate move. But I picked Queen C7 for a number of reasons, but like I say, there was these crazy lines that were coming up, and they're in the analysis where, let's see, it involved you getting a knight into E6.
Yeah, I was looking at that stuff too.
And then, okay, let me see. I'm trying to remember if it's this move or next move. But the knight goes to G5 at some point. And then what happens is I play Bishop H6, and then you go ahead with Knight E6 anyways. Or maybe you're taking a bishop on this square. You might even be taking the bishop. I think so. And what happens is, as a result, my bishop is actually taking your queen, so I don't know what happened to your bishop. It's in the analysis. My bishop is taking your queen, and then your knight is taking my queen. And in another line, oh, my queen's on C7. It all comes in the lines when my queen's on C7. That's right. Okay. Now, I'll be able to show you. Okay. Here's the point. What candidate moves did you consider for me?
In this position?
Yeah.
I was looking at D5 immediately. I was looking at...
No, for
I'm
black.
sorry. I was looking at E5 immediately.
Yeah.
I was looking at E6. I was looking at Knight Bd7. I looked at Knight G4. I looked at Knight G4 and C5.
Okay.
Those were all the moves that I looked at for candidate moves for black.
This was the first move I considered, and I've ultimately rejected it. I think white comes out okay out of this, and it's in my notes. Let's see if I can remember it. Okay, this is where some of these crazy positions happened that I was talking about. Okay, now you have. Well, I'm still not on the queen. I have to be on your queen somehow. Okay, you stop and guard that. Dang. I ended up on your queen.
I was thinking about playing Queen D3 after Bishop takes Bishop takes E6, because my idea is that I want to play Knight G5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Takes. Like I say, there was some crazy tactics, and it had to do with the position. Somebody's chatting with me where I can't talk to. But anyway, where was I? Dang. I know, like I say, this knight took here in the tactics. The knight's taking here, then the knight's taking here. And meanwhile, my bishop is eating your queen, and then there's a difference, because like your pawn's on B3. The question is, where did I take your queen? Did I take it on C1 or D2? And when I'm taking it on C1, I have a fork in the end of all this, and your knight can't get out after knight A6. And if I took your queen on D2, the queen is taking on C3. It's all in my notes, and I'm sorry, I'll just waste time trying to remember it. let's get
Right.
to the meat of the thing. But I ultimately rejected E5 as being bad, and it may not have been because of all those tactics. It may have just been because of something else. And again, we're at 10 minutes now. I could make a 5-hour video out of this. It's all in the other video, and I'm sure eventually I will upload it.
Yeah, I like my move D5 at first glance.
But I ultimately picked Queen C7 over Knight A6, and I liked it. The thing I was worried about maybe at some point is if the C file opens up my queen and your rook goes to C1, there may be some discoveries. But I like C5 too, and again, I can't remember everything I talked about. It's all in the other video. And Queen D3, and let's get down to the meat. I was thinking the better move was to play Rook Fe1.
I couldn't. Oh, Rook Fe1.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, there must be some reason for that.
Okay, there's several reasons. One is what ended up happening in the game. See, eventually, the way things turned out, I ended up with a queenside initiative because of the absence of your pieces on the queen side.
Right.
And if you keep your rook on A1, if I ever break with B5, the A file may open up, and you can make it you can maintain the balance of power over there.
Right.
When your knight ends up later fleeing the scene because it recaptures over on the king side, suddenly I have tempos to be gained attacking your pawns, and that lets me get a little bit of an invasion going. So my feeling was you didn't want to vacate the queen side. You wanted, since that's clearly the only place I can break, you don't want to vacate the queen side. That was my logic, and it seemed to work out. But what Rook Fe1 does is eventually you're going to play E4, just not yet. You're going to get it in, and I'm starting to remember some of the things I was forgetting. But you keeping the rook on A1, and you've developed that rook. Well, I still have a couple of guys sitting at home, and
I didn't like about this whole thing, and I really wanted to put a rook on the B file.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because of 95 here.
Right. Okay. Well.
And after 95, there's a line where I can play D6 if I get rook on the D file.
Right.
And then
yes.
And then knight B5 is coming.
Right. Yeah. Because that's quite true. Because knight E5 for me is a bad move. I looked at it and I rejected it. It's basically a bad move because of what you said. So maybe your rook D1 is fine simply because, or maybe put the other rook over there.
Yeah, maybe rook F1. Yeah, rook F1. I couldn't decide which rook. I was stuck on that.
This works great for you if I fall into it, because this move is just killer.
Yeah.
And there's all the stuff's covered. Like I was saying, what do I do now? If I attack your rook, you just go to D8 and pin my bishop. And then and if I go to D7 with the rook, you can snatch. I think you can snatch this pawn at some point, and
yeah, because your bishop is tied down. That's
right,
what I was looking at.
Bishop's overworked.
But also your C5 pawn is under attack to boot.
Oh yeah, C5. Yeah, and I can't even do anything about that.
Yeah.
So, 95 is one of those impulsive moves that I can't play. I analyzed it, and it's just no good.
I think you're right. Rook FD1 is better. But do you want to know why I played Rook AD1? I decided that the reason why I played Rook AD1 is that if you played Knight D4 and I took back with pawn, then I could use the open F file. That was my reason for keeping my rook on F1.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not going to play Knight G4, so.
Right. And this was, it'll show in the video. I can't remember exactly when I planned Rook E8, but it was probably in the cards when I played Knight Bd7. Again, you'll see it all. Did you see this move coming? Do you understand the purpose behind it?
I'm pretty sure I get it. Maybe it's because you want the bishop to go to F8 to defend the D6 pawn, or simply just to play E6 or E5.
No, it's neither.
Oh, to put the knight on F8.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
put the
missed
knight
that.
F8 and hold
Yeah. I
E6.
totally missed that whole idea. When you played knight F8, I was just like, because I was expecting knight to go to E5 for so long.
Right.
But I stopped that, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, yeah, the whole purpose was to put the knight on F8. It did take me off the F file, but you know you can't get everything you want. And I made some comment about that in my original video. Okay, so anyway, bishop F4, and now I can wait a move and start doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this play in. There's some discussion about me how I'm going to go about doing this. There's some discussion on the video that eventually I will do this and how you can try to prevent it, but eventually it's going to happen. Anyway, you went there.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that A4 is the right idea, but
like I say, it's going to happen. So now knight F8, and I've got what I want. I've got E6 covered, and I basically, as I'm saying on the video, black is equalized. Black doesn't need to upset the apple cart and try to play for a win yet. Black just has to sit down and play good moves, and be happy with equality. And if white gets if the game ends in a draw, it's because white didn't make a mistake. Just like I'd play any game. And I know there was some discussion. I'm always happy if you trade the dark squared bishops because I think my bishop will be my white squared bishop will be a little better. And
that's the exact reason why I didn't trade them.
Right. And here I was happy to see E4 simply because it allows me to do the things I wanted to do. It gets your knight off out of the queen side and lets me get my B5 in, and suddenly I've got some play. And that's all I can ask for is some activity.
I'm wondering if you didn't accept my pawn sacrifice. I thought for sure
I don't remember considering a pawn sacrifice. What was your pawn sacrifice?
Am I an examiner?
In this position or before?
I'm just saying, like, I'm going to try to move a piece here.
Okay. You just played E4. Where do you want to show me something different?
Okay.
I think I need to turn you on to be an examiner since you exited the game. Okay.
Okay, cool. So can you see that, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so E4, and then pawn takes E4. Okay, do you see that on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking in this position, after knight takes E4, if knight takes knight, queen takes knight, then bishop takes B2. And in this position, that's the pawn that I'm sacrificing. And the main reason why I'm sacking it is that I don't care for the B pawn anyway. and here I was thinking of doing some stuff with my pieces for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, I know I looked at, there were several lines I looked at. I don't quite remember this one. Is this a force win of a pawn? Can I force this?
Yeah, it's forced because if we go back.
Then, you know, it's funny. Okay, what did I play here? I didn't take on E4, did I? No.
Yeah, you played that.
Okay, all right. I don't remember. Maybe I did mention it. Maybe I did say there's a pawn winning, but I didn't like what happened as a result. But right now, at this moment, I don't remember even the possibility of winning a pawn. So I was looking at, what I was looking at was this, and then playing here. I wasn't considering this move.
Here, let me show you my idea. Because I think I remember part of what I was thinking.
Okay.
All right, so if you take, and I take back, and you take on B2, I think I was going to play this move, bishop E5. And if you played here, then I was going to play queen H4. And
well,
then...
I saw none of this.
So, I mean, I have no clue good, but it was just an idea. And then...
I have bishop F6 here.
Yeah.
Similar to what I did. Well, maybe I don't. You can win the pawn. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Okay. I didn't even consider capturing on B2.
Right.
I ended up choosing the line I did for a lot of reasons, which I'll explain here in a moment. And of course you'll see them again when you watch the video. But okay. there were two cannon moves, knight takes and bishop f5. Now, I was going to answer queen takes with bishop here. I didn't even consider this move. Maybe I would have seen it if I looked at it longer, but, you know, I miss one movers, and we don't have that much time on the clock. Now, you have to move your queen, so I say to myself, where is he going to move his queen? Okay, he's going to probably put it, well, he could put it on E2, but I guess I was looking at probably queen E3. Now, yeah, the pawn hangs. Maybe I was considering taking it here. But the drawback, I'm trying to remember the drawbacks. Was it at some point you were going to get knight h4 in, or maybe that was in the other lines?
That's actually the idea. That's part of the idea.
Right.
And then I've got the semi-open B file for whatever that's worth, and also I got some pressure against your king.
Right. But you see, the point was, I found whether I'm winning a pawn or not, I found what I thought was an excellent strategy. Okay. And it's evident. Maybe you saw it coming. Maybe you didn't. Okay. What did you do here? You took on f6.
The knight.
Now, what did you think I would do here?
I thought that you would take with the bishop, but I did analyze both things, and it's amazing how taking with the pawn. There's so many problems, like cause, you know, you're threatening to play rook e2, you know, all kinds of stuff. So taking with the pawn was the first thing that I thought you would do to open up your rook, but then I dismissed it, and I said, but then his dark squared bishop is trapped in, and so I was thinking that you take with the bishop. That was I thought for sure that's what you would do.
Okay, I wanted to know what you thought. Well, I'm pretty sure it was premeditated. It was premeditated at the moment that why I chose bishop f5. The purpose was to take with the pawn because it just does so much for my position. And was this one of my pre-moves? Let me see. Did I pre-move this? I gained 24 seconds. No, I know I pre-moved a couple times, but the whole purpose. This is one of the things that separates the master from the amateur. Okay, it does so much more. Okay, I'm not so much worried about the backward e-pawn on the open file. That wasn't a concern. I'm not so much concerned about now I have an open file. What I'm looking at is I'm taking away your one thing that you have going, G5. Okay, I'm taking away that G5 square because from G5
so annoying.
You can get to E6, and now I have exactly what I want. I'm going to have a queenside initiative that you cannot stop. I'm going to have tempos on the queenside. My queen can go to A5 to support the B5 break. It's threatening to go there right now. Queen is threatening to go to B5. You have to stop and cover the pawn, and then I'm going to get B5. And this bishop, even though it doesn't have any scope now, it's going to get scope later. And I finally got it into play later, right? So it's a 10-15 move plan for that bishop. The positional consequences are multiple, and there's even more to this that was in the plan, which becomes evident in the next couple moves. Okay, so now queen d2. Now you've taken away queen a5, which is fine. I don't mind that. But now the continuation of the plan is thus. Now I can get the move I wanted to play earlier in. Now I can play knight to e5, and all the tricks that you had before are gone.
Yeah, that's amazing. Your plan was very good. It was very good.
This is, like I say, these two moves, rather than take with the bishop, the idea of taking with the pawn and putting the knight back on d7, that's what separates the master from the amateur, is knowing when to do that. The amateur will look at that and say, I can't shut my bishop in, and they will not consider that move. But here, the whole plan comes evident. The knight's going to e5, and now it's good. So, lesson for anyone watching this. This is how you become a chess master. And there it is. Mission accomplished.
Yep. And I've got to take it. Right? Because you're planning bishop g4, like if I play b3 and bishop g4, right?
More or less, something like that. Let's see. Don't remember exactly. We're at 29 minutes, so I want to move on. I could take with the rook, but there's maybe some positions I discussed the reasons for that. But like I said, I just want to move on. F3, and now bishop d7. So there's my first tempo on your queen side, with the idea of continuing with some play. And that's not forced. It may not be the best move, but it's decent. It makes me adjust my strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I pretty much have to do this at some point, and this happens a lot in Benoni type formations. You get black tries for the b5 break and white pushes a5, but black does this anyway, and he still gets an open file, half open file here to play on. Okay, so now rook f2, and is this where you had the mouse slip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was considering rook b1 because I wanted to play pawn to b4.
Mm-hmm.
But then after I realized that you could just play pawn to a5 or bishop to f5, I had to move the rook. So rook b1 was a bad move.
Right.
So and then when I tried to get back to d1, it split to e1.
Right. The way to do that, I've done this exact same thing as you. The way to handle it. Say I'm considering queen b3. Okay. Let's just say I'm considering that move. And I say, I don't want to put that, so I want to put the queen back. All right. Now I could accidentally put it on b7, and I've excuse me, and I've mouse slipped, right? So the way I get around it, you can't see my queen moving around. I'm turning around in circles. You'll see it on the video, but from your board you can't see it. But if I can't remember exactly where the queen came from, what I'll do is I'll go stick it on top of your king.
Oh, I do the exact same thing.
And when I stick it on top of your king, it's an illegal move, and it'll put it back where it belongs. So
right.
You just have to train yourself to do that.
Yeah, I don't do it every time, but I probably do that.
So anyone watching the video can learn that trick. You can't see it because you can't see. I'm waving my queen around. Right now, my queen is on my black queen is on h1, which is an illegal move, but you can't see it from your board. But anyone watching this video can. So, like I said, I'll play an illegal move, like release the mouse, and it'll buzz at me and put it back. Okay, so I don't mind giving back moves. Actually, I would give back moves at ICC in casual games, simply because if you blunder a piece or something on move 4, what's the point of playing the game out? There's no point.
Right.
I would much rather play another move. So what? Theoretically, you could say it's a feature they should put in. Okay. Blunder a piece, resign, and have an immediate take back rematch. Let's play again, and from the same position, but I get a new move. They need to put that in ICC, because I would go for that. Then it's on record that basically a take back is an admission one side lost, but you're just playing another game. And even if I win the game 5 times, I mean, myself, I consider, well, I won it once. I just gave him lots of moves back. But it's a neat feature, kind of like akin to the doubling cube in backgammon. You can win a lot of money in backgammon if you keep that cube going back and forth, right? Well, you can win a lot of games from one position. Okay. Case in point. So now, as I say, all I can do is infest your queen side. That's been my plan. Play on the queen side. So I'm now going through with my plan. And so for what it's worth, now black has a little initiative. And that's all I have. And now I've come up with some new ideas here. One idea is to play queen b4, queen a4 at some point, I mentioned on my video, and swing the other rook over and gang up on c4. That was one of my ideas.
And my idea to stop that was put the bishop on d7 and then threaten to win your queen by playing bishop d2.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had, they're just ideas. And here I thought you were going to check on e6. I really did, but your plan was good.
Yeah. The real threat is bishop d7. That's the idea. And I'm not it was so hard to play this game after you sacked the exchange on b5. it was pretty much forced because I was going to try when you're queen, so I really should have looked at it a little deeper.
Well, we also don't have much time. Let's see, rook c1. But I know I was looking at this check, and there's one line I gave that went on and on and on. It was this long line where you got this attack going, and I end up with this counter attack, and at some point it's a long line which you'll see. I know my queen comes down, it grabs one bishop with check, and then you have to go to g2, and then I win the other rook, and you try to perpetual check me, and I just said I think I get out of the perpetual check. You'll see it on the video. Okay, so rook b8. Okay, so now there. Now, I was anticipating this for a couple moves. I had the exchange sack in mind for several moves. Are you threatening to win my queen?
Yeah, bishop d2, right?
Wow. I was see, I can't see one movers. I didn't even consider it. But I was planning to sacrifice the exchange for several moves. It was not like, oh, I have to give up the exchange because if I don't, my queen will be trapped. No, this was all intent. It was all planned. So,
right.
But I guess you're right. I guess I have to. I mean, here I'm the master, and I'm not even seeing my stupid queen is being attacked. Is it because of low time on the clock? Yeah, probably. You know, this is not standard. Still is not true standard chess, but it's better than we were doing at 15-minute games. Right. Standard chess is 40 moves in 2 hours. Period. 60-30 is can still get you a good game. But anyway, yeah, you're threatening bishop d2. How obvious. Now.
You know, that was the idea, but I'm not convinced that this whole bishop b5 stuff is good now, because this exchange stack is just really hard to play against. You know, it may not be best, but it certainly makes it really, really hard for me to proceed.
I guess it's the only move. What else do I do?
Yeah, I mean, you have to take it. There's really nothing else. You can play, and a4 doesn't even work because bishop d2, and you still lose your queen.
Right.
Because the a5. It just,
right.
You got to take it. It's forced.
So, as I was saying in the video, I said, well, this is my plan, and I should have still have a lasting initiative, and objectively, I'm going to get a pass pawn and try to win the exchange back and keep the pawn ahead.
I was looking at e4 here for black. I was looking at e4, pawn takes c4, bishop takes b2, rook takes b2, bishop takes c4. But then after rook takes queen, you're just down a whole piece. So yeah, taking that bishop is forced. Yeah.
But like I say, it was all planned well ahead of time. So maybe that's one reason why I didn't even consider bishop d2, because I had realized that I had seen this position from the moment I planned it. I had seen this position and felt that black will not lose this, and that black can try for the win.
I should have given it all back with rook takes c4 after about 10 moves. I had an opportunity to do that 3 or 4 or 5 times, and I should have done it.
Well, show me when you can do it.
It'll be later.
Okay.
Once your queen goes over there to e8, I can take it with the rook on c4.
Okay, maybe probably didn't even consider that. I don't giving it back.
But I was trying to push. I was trying to push for a win. So.
But like I say, the idea was, where does your queen go? And suddenly, now one drawback too is my bishop on b3. It's not very active, but it's doing a lot there. It's taking some squares away that you'd like to occupy, and my other bishop is still out of play. But I'm liking my chances here to play for a win. I think I have full positional compensation for the piece, or for the exchange. Okay.
Yeah, it's not simple. The light squares. Again, you kill me on these light squares.
Yeah, so h4. I think I was thinking of some other move, but I can't remember what it was. So now you could take it. Yeah, didn't even consider it.
I can take on c4, but that's just, what was the point of the exchange sacrifice if I'm just going to go to an equal position?
Right.
Well, I'm not entirely sure.
Right. I didn't see it because of time. Okay. Does that make me weaker of a player because I didn't see it because of time? No, because I would see it with a longer time, and I would say, well, if he does it, maybe I have to do this. There was some reasons for Queen E8, and they're shown in the video. It's just basically to sit there and hold on to any attempt by you to try to administer checkmate against me.
Yeah.
But again, okay, what black to play here?
You can play E4.
I can play E4. I mean, that activates this bishop. It activates me on the E file. What do? If you take, I've got. You may be busted. You know,
I can't take.
This is hanging. I mean, like I say, I don't always see moves that my opponent may do, and you could have done this, but I always find moves because I know my position is solid. So it takes a grandmaster to prove it isn't solid. I have that, always have that solid of a game because I know the right moves and what's the best move to play. So what do you do here? This is now a threat on the bishop. So what do you do? Do you counterattack a pawn? Do you move your bishop?
Can I just play D3?
Play what?
Can I just play B3?
Well, you might even play F4 here. Maybe that's what you have to play.
Yeah.
Because I think if you play B3, I mean, E3's hanging.
I'm gonna take with the rook.
You can't take with the rook. I just take E3. Do you have a trick I'm missing?
Rook takes F3. Oh yeah. Duh. Yeah, duh. That's.
Do you have a trick I'm missing? Yeah,
no, there's no trick. There's no trick.
You're in check too. Okay.
Just a counting mistake. That's all.
So you have to play F4 here. Now, whoops. You have to play F4. Now I have a passed pawn. Again. Gosh, I'm liking black here.
Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't take on C4. I felt like, it just got any better,
Right. So although here I freely admit, it didn't even dawn on me that you would give back the exchange, and somebody can say, how can you be a master if you're not? Well, look at my analysis. Look at the moves. Prove me wrong. Run this against a program. You're going to have this is a human game. It's obvious. There's a video of the whole game in action. With live chess, I'm sitting here looking at a chessboard just because I didn't consider a fact of you giving back the exchange. I explained there's a lot of things I don't consider, but like I say, I'll say it again. I know my game is solid enough. This is why I maintain I have 2400 or higher understanding of chess, but I need more time. I can't play blitz. I can't play quick standard in order to see things. But if I had seen this, I'd say, okay, well, he gives back the exchange, but I look good here. I mean, A4, that looks like a good move. Just off the top of my head, it stops B3. It's getting ready to swing things over. Now I have my bishop activated. I like my game here.
Yeah, black's better here.
Okay, so let's get into the game. So you did have an opportunity to take it. It may be better at some point. I guess maybe not to look at everything. But I'm kind of happy the way games are going here. I'm just inviting you to come in. And one of the purposes of Queen E8, as I explained in the video, is I'll just let you take this pawn. I'll take it. I'll take it, and you can't do anything. And I just go ahead and secure the bishop in because I'm going to do that anyway. And I'm covered if you push H5. And here I'm getting closer to what I want to do. I've cut off your attack as far as I've seen, and here I'm getting exactly what I want. Now the plan is, I know I'm not going to win the exchange. I'm going to force your pawns onto squares and get my bishop. Now finally get my bishop activated. The plan, as I say in my live video, is it's getting into play that way.
Yeah.
And plus I can trade queen. I'm able to trade queens. And there's some possible defenses I gave for you in the video that I can't remember right now. Some alternative plans. But here, I think black's very close to a winning game. White just, unless white can find a way to sit on this, and I gave some ideas in that maybe you can do it, or maybe try to give back the exchange and go into an opposite colored bishop ending. But the drawback with that is you have to get rid of the rook for the dark squared bishop to get an opposite colored bishop, and I may just keep rooks on. So there's some stuff like that coming up. But I wasn't sure exactly how you do it, because again, I'm slow on time. I'm not sure exactly how you're going to defend this, but I didn't see any move that you played to give me too much of a problem. I just didn't see I always felt I had enough going here, and I was even I was thinking at some point that I could maybe even try my own minority attack, get you down to one pawn, go around and surround it and win it. So King H3 and okay, rook over. Now
here maybe I should have played rook c1.
Rook c1.
Oh, but then I lose
B3.
with bishop e3.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to infest your position. You'll see here in a second. The piece sack you did, I didn't even see coming.
I didn't know what else to do. I was under so much pressure.
Well, yeah, but I'll show you a possible line here. Okay, I think the move is one of these guys. Go back. The point being, okay, let's put this one back, and it's given on the video. I think that the point is, I now need to go here. Okay, and now you have, what was it? Now you have bishop d2.
Okay.
And if I don't take, then you're going to take, and there was one line where, because you, oh, okay, let's see if I can remember this, because there's one line that I went out where, let's see, how did this go? You took, somehow I had your rooks, in some line, I had your rooks getting, this rook was still on e2, and you were able to get this in, and I had to take, and you took, and then I'm shoving one pawn, you're taking, I'm shoving this pawn, you're taking, I'm shoving it to a2, and then your rook comes over to a6 and stops me. I can't remember exactly what position I was looking at.
Dark square.
I can't remember exactly which position I was looking at, because we don't have much time here, but I was analyzing it out. But it had to do somewhere in this line. You're trying to force this position, and can you win the pawn? But the way I can't remember exactly what move was coming, but I was doing things that made some slight changes, so your rooks weren't doubled, so on the second rank, so you couldn't play rook d2. So something I saw coming for a while. Maybe I have a resource. It's just something for you to look at in the post-mortem, which is the whole purpose of this. I saw a possible defense, which I just explained. It's in more detail at the right point, and I say, and then you get rook a6, and there's my pawn on a2, and I can't take it any farther. And meanwhile, now you have this pass pawn on c3, and my d pawn is gone, and yeah, I've got these double pawns over there that are tying your king up a little bit, but that's not going to last. So anyway, you might be winning that variation, but I think if there's any defense, it's bringing one of those rooks back to the first rank, and you'll have to examine.
I did consider it in the game, but
you'll have to examine it. Yeah, well, look, you have 49 seconds. You can't consider everything. Yeah, this is still not standard chess. So g3. And now I just went ahead and got rid of that problem child, because when you can't double, I think it's better to take rather than hide behind it. And I really believe black is winning here.
Yeah, black's flat out winning here. I was just busted. I didn't know what to do.
Although it's not exactly clear. If my rook moves, I can't shove the d pawn yet. e5 will fall, but I'll figure it out. So here I was saying, oh, I've got to get the rook into play, and it seemed like getting the rook to b5 and bringing it back was not necessarily the quickest idea. Here, your only chance now is to do something with 2 rooks. If I can trade rooks here, then one set of rooks, I think black just breezes.
Yeah.
And like I say, that just totally caught me off guard. Wow.
You know, there's not much I could do. I felt like it was probably the best defense, but you know,
Yeah.
I felt lost here.
Well, you know, but really, yeah, it's hard to say because this is. I may have suggested a move for you on the video. I don't remember. What do you do?
All kinds of threats.
You're going to have to. You need to double the rooks on the G file, but I'm going to be checking you and keeping it. So let's see. Let's try this move.
Trading rooks is bad.
I check.
If I trade rook.
And there I win a pawn. Yeah. So it's probable that black is winning this, and your defense was to bring a rook back to the first rank, as I explained. But
yeah. And now it's too late.
Here, I'm just trying to keep your rooks from getting connected. And I mentioned several things in the video. And there's even one way I could have gotten mated in here if I wasn't careful. And there are several ways to lose this too. Like for instance, and I was trying to repeat the position to gain time. It's like I have to be careful. At some point, like if my king gets up here, you can check with this pawn, and I take with the bishop, and your king slides over to f3, and discover check, and I lose the bishop. So that's
right.
all mentioned. There's some tricks there. But now I'm getting out of most of those and keeping your rooks from getting too active on me.
This is so painful.
Yeah, 2 bishops just murder a poor rook.
Oh man, this is just, gosh. This whole infestation of my position when my pieces were clunky was just, I mean, it was just well played. It really was.
Thanks. Well, A3 just seems to do it. There's no need to go back to B3, although that would probably still win. A3 just seems to do it.
Yep. A3 is, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, you got to pass pawn, but mine's quicker.
Yep. And you're controlling C1 and C2. That's all that matters.
Yeah. There's just, you can't even get behind it. Well, let's see.
I can sack my rook and pawn, but then you've got 2 bishops and a pawn versus my 1 pawn, and that's it.
You can get behind it, but I still go there. You just can't. You just can't do it.
That's why I resigned, because of this position right here.
Right.
Nothing I can do.
Okay. There'll be a rematch, folks. Those that are enjoying these encounters, watch this guy. He's good. He's going to get better. Those that watch, like I say, those that watch my videos learn to prepare. But he wants you to play well against him so he can play his best. And he's happy if he can. He's happy if he can play this well against you and barely lose, because he barely lost. He'll be spending a lot of time analyzing this and finding other alternatives. We discussed the main ideas. I explained my strategy and how I employed it, so now he can use that strategy against someone when he plays his games. Those that are watching can see these strategies and learn. It's okay to shut your own pieces in sometime. It's okay to get in time pressure. All kinds of lessons to be learned. But true standard chess has to be slower than this. But still, the game wasn't decided on some stupid move or some simple oversight. Both sides had to come and play chess. So thanks everyone for their time, and thanks to Truxton. I'm going to close the video and look forward to making another video for all soon.